Hey, what's up, y'all? I'm Kyle Downey, and this is the Sports Download, the show where a Los Angeles native talks sports from a fan's perspective. I might not be unbiased, but I keep it honest and real with you. All right, so it's been a minute since I talked to y'all, so let's get it going. First of all, I want to start off the show uh, by commenting and mentioning an update on Bronny James. So Bronny is doing well and has been diagnosed with a congenital heart defect, which caused his cardiac arrest. But the James family says that they expect a full recovery and a basketball return in the very near future. So this is great news. I love that Bronny's doing well. Also saw him roll up with LeBron to his bobblehead night at the Dodger Stadium, which we'll talk about later, and also saw him walk in with Drake at the Drake concert with his dad LeBron as well. So great news on that front. I'm glad he's doing well health-wise. First and foremost, thank God. And then also, way less important, glad that he can continue to play basketball, because I know he loves basketball. I know that's something he's pursuing. He's trying to get to the NBA, so love to hear that. But definitely primarily, of course, is that love that he's doing well, and continued prayers and recovery for him, and prayers for the family as well. Also, wanted to start off by mentioning that last week the Lakers announced the unveiling of Kobe's statue. Kobe Bryant will have a statue. He will be immortalized in front of Staples Center, and the statue will be unveiled February 8th, 2024. The significance of the numbers being 2 was his daughter that passed as well with him, Gigi. Her number was 2 when she played basketball, so the 2 right there in February, and the 8 and 24 is going to be February 8th and 2024 obviously were Kobe's 2 numbers. So really excited for that, and once again I commend Vanessa on her poise, and she did an excellent job. Granted, it's been years since he's passed now, but she's stayed out of the limelight, but when she steps in and talks about Kobe, talks about her husband, she just shows so much poise and strength, and I just commend her, and prayers for her and her family as they live life without Kobe. But it was a great video, very cool, very special, and wonderful that she was able to present that it's going to be unveiled. I guess announced that it's going to be unveiled, and really excited that we're going to see it. I saw a rumor that it was going to come out in August, but love that it's going to come out in February. That way it honors Gigi in the form of the date, February. I don't know how the statue is going to be, what the statue is going to look like. I heard rumors about it honoring Gigi as well, but I also heard from the Kamenetsky brothers that they had heard somewhere that Gigi can be honored later on, and I know that the Lakers will do an incredible job of continuing to honor Kobe and Gigi. But no matter what they choose for the pose, I think it's going to be special. It's going to be amazing, and I don't know if I'll make it out for the unveiling, but I told my wife we're going to bring you, the kids. We're all going to go out and see the statue after it's unveiled, obviously, and take pictures with it, because Kobe's very important to me, and I grew up a huge fan of his, and I cried as if I lost a brother when he passed. So it's very important to me to go see that and pay homage and respect to Kobe. And my wife's a huge Lakers fan as well, and she loved and respected Kobe, still does. And I'm gonna raise my kids telling them about Kobe, about this guy that was so dedicated. And I have a tattoo of Kobe's logo with the mamba snake wrapped around my right forearm, my shooting arm, when I used to play ball. But got the tattoo a year after he passed, a little bit less than a year after he passed. So that's how much I love and respect Kobe. So I'll definitely make it out there to go see that statue. And I knew that this day was coming. I'm glad that it's coming soon, and it's going to be very special, very emotional. And I think I've heard that the Lakers play the Nuggets that night, so it'll be an exciting game too, and it'll mean something because within the conference and against former champs. So definitely excited for that. I'm really, really excited, and it's gonna be really great to see. I just hope that the statue looks incredible because he was such an incredible player and an incredible man. All right, next I want to quickly mention, so the Lakers still are waiting on filling out that 14th roster spot. The 15th roster spot is probably going to be left open because it might be, Colin Castleton might be turned into a full-time NBA contract later on. That's what I've heard from Anthony Irwin on the Lakers Lounge pod, and he has some sources. He's not a reporter, but he has some sources, and in his words. But they're still waiting to sign the 14th roster spot, and it looks like it'll be Christian Wood, but Christian Wood is waiting to see what happens with James Harden trade, potentially, if it happens now. At this point, it doesn't seem like Philly says they don't want to trade him, but we'll see. Things change, and waiting on Dame, because Dame's trying to get to Miami. His agent made that very clear, so Wood's looking at either Miami or the Clippers or Philly, potentially. I don't know. I'm guessing on that, honestly. But, I mean, they might be able to, other teams might be able to offer him more money, but, you know, living LA is a great selling point. Playing for the Lakers, playing with LeBron is a great selling point. And it's honestly worked for Malik Monk and different guys around the league to get paid, minimum guys to either get paid with the Lakers or get paid with another squad. So waiting on Christian Wood. I think it's either going to be Christian Wood or Biyombo. The Lakers have been clear that they want to sign, not clear themselves, but through leaks and things like that. According to Jovan Buha of The Athletic, looks like that's their top priority. I would say the same, although Biyombo is pretty decent signing as well for a defensive presence, especially when AD's not there, but Wood could help fill in the gap offensively when AD's not there. Hopefully AD plays good solid 65 games or more. But yeah, so I don't know if Wood's going to get more. I know he wants more than the minimum, but I mean, if you're going to get the minimum, you might as well go somewhere where you could rehab your image. I mean, I'm biased, but honestly, who wouldn't want to play for the Lakers, to be honest? So we're still waiting on that, see what happens there. Yeah, I mean, it might come to a point, I think as Andy Kamenetsky said, it might come to the point where the Lakers just don't want to wait anymore and just say, hey, you know, so they don't lose out on Wood and Biyombo. So gonna pay attention to that. Obviously, it's important. It's weird. It's the 14th roster spot, but it's an important position, a backup big, because honestly, Jackson Hayes is not proven enough to be the backup. There's also been reports that JaVale McGee might be cut or mutually leave or something with the Mavericks. I love JaVale. I love what he did for us, but from what it seems like, his numbers have gone down. He's not as an effective player as he was 3 years ago. So I don't think that I would want that. I don't think I would want him. Yes, he could be reliable. You know what you're going to get in that respect. But there's no point in having him and Jackson Hayes. It's kind of a duplicate of skill set. And also, JaVale just doesn't seem to have it as much as he did three years ago. So, yeah. I mean, we've seen what it looks like. I'm not saying JaVale's dropped this far, but we saw what it looked like with DeAndre Jordan when he didn't have it anymore. And the Lakers are trying to sign him, even though he didn't look good in Brooklyn, which was a bad mistake last season, or excuse me, the season before last. So anyway, we'll keep monitoring that, and yeah, that's all there is really. There's not much more to chew on that about, but we'll keep monitoring that. Next, I've been paying attention to the USA basketball team, USA men. They've been winning. They won all their games in the exhibition games. They've won all their games since the FIBA World Cup tournament began, and obviously been watching it closely and watching highlights when I can't catch the games. Watching it because Austin Reaves, our guy Austin Reaves is out there, and not only is he a fan favorite in Manila, Philippines, because he's a Laker, but also he's been playing really well and looking really good and efficient. He's averaging like 12 points a game on 17 minutes a game, and he's been very efficient from the three-point line. I think about 40%, doing passing, getting some boards, but passing it, and he's coming off the bench too, which they have a lot of talent at the guard level, so I understand why he wouldn't start, but he's just so good and connective that he definitely could start. But I mean, we'll see what happens when they play. When they play better teams, like if they play Canada, which Canada is a pretty good team with Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, and I forget who else is on that team, but some more NBA players. So, moral of the story: Austin Reaves is him, as those Filipino guys said. There's some Filipino fans that were like, "Austin, you're him," and Anthony Edwards kind of copied the accent, mimicked the accent. I don't think he meant it in an offensive way, just kind of just like repeating it jokingly. And I saw that clip, and just shows how popular Austin Reaves is and how you are as a Laker. And I saw Anthony Irwin retweeted and tweeted out a picture of him in like a Photoshop Lakers jersey, Anthony Edwards, and I quote tweeted it saying, "Yeah, I try to tell y'all how popular the Lakers are and how that love is different, and then this is when you see it." And I think some of these players are seeing it, like, wow, the Lakers are beloved all around the world globally, and they are beloved in the Philippines, who is a basketball country. They love basketball out there. So yeah, I'm not saying Austin Reaves is tampering, but I think just his likability and how all the guys love him and respect him as a player and can see he's legit. You had Mikal Bridges say that. You had Brandon Ingram say that. Let's just say it could help the Lakers down the line when it comes to getting another star or a star adjacent type player. Yeah, we'll just say some teams have been formed over the years, famously like LeBron, the big three in Miami. They were formed by playing together in the Olympics. So that would be very exciting. That would be very exciting to see who Austin Reaves could get to come. And just, I love that we have this guy that is so good and an agreeable personality and could possibly want to play with that guy. He's an unselfish type player, but he can also score. It's really good. I like where the Lakers are, and I like where they're looking for this next season coming up. If his play and his efficiency transfers to next year, look out. I mean, I saw a piece come out from Jovan Buha today at The Athletic saying if he continues on this ascension, Austin Reaves could be the third star that they've been looking for as a guard. I don't know if he's a third star yet, but he's definitely climbing at a very high pace, and you love to see it as a Lakers fan. Honestly, truly love to see it. Okay, next we'll talk about winning time. So I retweeted, I know Jeff Pearlman, who authored the book Showtime that Winning Time is about. He was saying, everybody watch this because of the strike. I think it's not getting as much publicity as normal. So I retweeted and I said, yeah, I love this because they had a winning time. They had a winning time ad, like little ad in Boston Garden, and I was like, yeah, I love that, and I was like, F Boston, because that came out of Winning Time last season. And if y'all don't know, Winning Time, I'm sure you guys do know, but Winning Time is an HBO show based on the Showtime Lakers in the 1980s with Magic and Kareem and everybody. And it's a really good show. And I retweeted that, and I retweeted that, and it's a really good show. But this season, it seems like they cut out some of the controversial stuff as it pertains to Magic Johnson, where they're not showing like how active he was socially with the women, and they're trying to show that he's growing and that he wants to be with Cookie. And I'm not saying that he didn't love Cookie, but in the first season you see how he was going out late at night and things like that. And I mean, not just going out, but going out, he was seeing a lot of women. And I just think I'd like to see authentic stories being told. And I know they're going to take dramatic license. We'll see how it rounds out, but it's still a pretty good show. But I'd like to see more honesty, because that was what was edgy and good about it last year, is that you're pissing off like Jerry West. Not to piss him off on purpose, but people were pissed off about their portrayal because, remember when they were asked, they were asked for their comments or help with to be counseled on the show, they declined. But not only were they pissed about that, but they were pissed because they didn't like the way they were looking. And it's true that Jerry West didn't throw a trophy out of his room, out of his office, but he is notably kind of miserable when it comes to not succeeding, not winning. And I understand. I understand that he wanted to win and wanted to succeed all the time. But that's kind of how he is. He doesn't like, maybe he doesn't throw golf clubs, but the dramatic license again. So I don't want people to be pissed off, but I do want them to be portrayed, as realistically as possible. That was one of the things I had trouble with the basketball, with just the like statistics, and like they go on a road trip and they showed the Lakers lost all these games when really they didn't lose those games. Last season I didn't like that, so obviously it's not going to be perfect because they have to take dramatic license, but I'd like it to be as close to the real story as possible. So, but I'm still going to watch. I think it's been interesting how they showed Magic Johnson, he gets hurt and he can't play most of the season, and they're showing the drama with Paul Westhead and how that didn't work, and how he started he wants them to run a system and not Magic to run the offense, which is strange. You kind of want to tailor your team's offense to your best players. So it's been interesting. It's been still a good show, but just I'd like to see if it became more realistic as far as the storylines. That's my only gripe, but I would say still watch Winning Time, still support it, and it's tough. It's tough during these actors and writers strikes. Definitely, I hope that the writers and the actors come out on top, because I don't like the studios trying to take advantage of them. I never like companies trying to take advantage of their workforce. So definitely still support the actors, still support the writers, and watch Winning Time, because that's a good show that needs to continue to be on the air. Hopefully they can be more realistic. But if you're a Lakers fan, if you're a basketball fan, and if you're just a fan of drama and comedy, I would say check it out. Okay, and as I mentioned earlier, LeBron had a bobblehead night at Dodgers Stadium, and Bronny walked in with him, which again, love to see him out and about and doing well. And on that bobblehead night, Mookie Betts homered twice, and then he saluted LeBron when he came to home plate the second time, and then LeBron kind of tipped his hat to him, which was just really cool to see two champions that have won in LA in the same year just see two greats like that show respect to one another. Great on Mookie to salute him, and great on LeBron to tip his cap to him. Just they are just two phenomenal athletes and have had phenomenal careers, and just to see the mutual respect that they have. And they're two guys that came from other cities and made a home here in LA and won championships for LA. So it's just beautiful to see as a Laker fan, Dodger fan. I love that. It was a great moment. Speaking of the Laker Dodger connection in LA, it was announced, I believe, the other day, that Kobe's oldest daughter, Natalia, will throw out the first pitch at the Lakers night, Friday night, September 1st, at Dodger Stadium, where they also had special tickets. They also had special tickets for that game for a Kobe jersey that has Bryant on the back and 8 and 24 numbers. So those tickets are sold out, but you can still go to the game, I believe, if they have tickets and for Lakers night. But those tickets are special that you should have already ordered. But I love that. I love that they asked Natalia to do it. I love that they contacted the family, and I think it's really, really great and really cool that Natalia goes out there, and I look forward to seeing that. And I love Kobe. I love the Bryant family, and I love that the Dodgers, being the class act that they are honoring Kobe and honoring him by having his daughter throw out the first pitch. It's going to be a beautiful moment for sure. All right, next up, let's talk about some future Lakers like Giannis Antetokounmpo. All right. I don't know if he's going to be a future Laker, but he did say recently in an interview that he won't sign an extension unless the Bucks stay committed to winning a championship. And I totally get it. Speaking of Kobe, this is something that Kobe kind of did before he signed his extension, or after he signed his extension. Shortly after, he demanded a trade because he was tired of not having success that he was accustomed to. He had already won 3 rings, and there was some down years where he had to drag some teams to the playoffs. So I don't fault Giannis at all here. Not only because I want him to be a Laker, but because they broke through and they won a championship, but he wants multiple championships because these guys' legacies are analyzed by championships, and I think there's weight to that. I think that's just not the only thing that determines a great player, but when you have a great player like a Giannis or a LeBron or a KD or a Steph, because they are going out, they get paid a lot, but they're going out there, they're giving you everything they got. And I think as an organization, again, you shouldn't take advantage of your workers. So he shouldn't just be out there just playing to put fans in the stands. Like, he wants to win titles, so he should apply some pressure and just, not to threaten, but because these guys are judged by championships, he wants to be seen as an all-time great, so he wants multiple championships. So I don't fault him at all. And apparently it came out from Mark Stein that Giannis would want to be either in New York or LA. I'm not sure which one was mentioned first, but it doesn't matter, because on one hand that makes sense, but on the other hand it also makes sense because the Lakers and the Knicks are always mentioned when guys are going to be free agents, because those are the 2 biggest markets. The 2 coastal cities, it makes sense. It makes less sense because the Knicks are not as great as they once were, but they're a playoff team. So again, I'd love for Giannis to be a Laker, but I'm not saying that just yet. I've been on the Jason Tatum is a future Laker for a long time. Hopefully that happens, but unfortunately Boston is going to make sure they extend him next season. But I'm hoping he demands a trade shortly after LeBron retires or something like that. But anyway, I would love to have Giannis on the Lakers. Good golly. But I'm not going to get ahead of myself because things change a lot in the NBA landscape. So I'm not going to get ahead of myself. All right, next up in the NBA world, James Harden was fined $100,000 for public trade demands. So he didn't really demand a public trade, and so the union, the NBA-PA, is fighting that, and we'll see what happens with that, if there's any kind of money lessened or if they can get rid of the fine, because that's what your union is going to do. They're full of lawyers, so they're going to be looking into that, into the fine print. If anything, he could be. The real issue is he didn't ask for a public trade. So I heard Aaron Larsoul and Anthony Irwin talking about this on the Lakers Lounge podcast, which is a great podcast. And Aaron works in the NBA, so he knows inner workings. He works for the Lakers, so he knows he knows the CBA, and he knows how it works. So the problem is if James Harden was promised the bigger, this is what him and the Sixers would be willing to cop to, because if he's implying, when he called Morey a liar, if he's implying that they promised to take care of him after taking a pay cut, that's circumventing the salary cap, which is a huge deal and would get the Sixers in trouble, would get Morey in trouble, probably get Morey fired if that came out. So the fact that it's a trade demand when he didn't ask for a trade, he could have just been saying, I don't want to work there unless you get rid of Morey because I feel he lied to me. But, it probably was, hey, I'll take a little less money, but take care of me next year, right? And they didn't take care of him. Or it could be that he was promised to be traded if he opted in and he wasn't traded. I don't know exactly what it is. It's speculation at this point. But at this point, it is what it is. We just got to see how the saga ends, if he gets traded to the Clippers, if not, or if his fine sticks, or if not. I don't know. It is what it is. Yeah, that's all I really got to say at that point. And like I mentioned earlier about the USA Basketball, they are undefeated and they're playing well. And let's see when their next game is. The next game is tomorrow morning Pacific time, 1:40 a.m. They play Montenegro, and they should win that game, obviously, because the USA team, even though it's not full of superstars, it's full of a lot of young up-and-coming stars and players. They're really good, and they're better than pretty much everybody out here except for Canada, which, let's see, they don't have Canada coming up as it is yet. They have Montenegro and Lithuania. So yeah, and they've been pretty much dominant, except for when they've started off slow and then had to go to Austin Reaves and Halliburton off the bench. That's another guy that I would love to see as a Laker, getting along with Austin Reaves. Appreciate you, Austin Reaves. I see you out there. I see you. And when Reaves was asked about being tampering, he said, yeah, I just like playing with the guys, and it's a really fun experience, and I can't really say anything about that, but yeah. But yeah, so players can't be fined for tampering, but good job, Austin Reaves. I see you. Again, I love that you're such a nice guy, and everybody likes to play with you, because I appreciate it. I appreciate it when some of these guys are free agents. I appreciate it. I appreciate you. I see you. I see you. Smart man. Okay. Next, I saw on YouTube, I think it was, a lot of times on YouTube, I'll see these shorts, and I saw Isaiah Thomas, the young Isaiah Thomas that used to play for the Celtics. I saw that he said that Paolo Banchero, speaking of USA Basketball, he said that he's got next as far as who's going to be the next superstar coming up. I think they might have asked him American Superstar. I forget which podcast he was on. Might have been with, I can't even say. It might have been with Gilbert Arenas, but I can't remember. But he said that he's got next because he's a sponge and because he's humble. And he's always asking for helps. He's always asking for help and tips, and he hits up Isaiah Thomas like, what about this? What about this in my game? What about this? And that he's working on his game. And obviously Banchero was Banchero was the Rookie of the Year, and he has a bright future ahead of him. Only played 1 year at Duke, so he's still young. I've been seeing him. He's coming off the bench for Team USA. He's really good. He's really big, really strong, about 6'10", 250. And I remember Rui, when they played the Magic last year, Rui Hachimura on the Lakers said, yeah, he's strong. He's like grown man strong. So he definitely, and I saw he's been taking some three-point jumpers. If he can add that to his game, it'll take him to another level. And he looks like he could be like a point forward. He looks like he'd be like a point forward type guy. But again, another future Laker, because we all know the pipeline from Orlando Magic to the Lakers. It's been well documented. You know, first it was Shaq, then it was Dwight Howard. Banchero was just next in the long line of pipeline from Orlando Magic to the Lakers. Again, who doesn't want to be a Laker? But I would love it if he's a Laker someday. But as of right now, he's on the Orlando Magic, and I just thought that was interesting because Isaiah Thomas, man, I feel bad for him because he was a great player until he got hurt, and he shouldn't have played for the Celtics when he was hurt, and they did him dirty, and that's why the Celtics don't get free agents like that. And I feel bad for him because he was an all-star and he was a really good player, and then he got hurt and he wasn't the same. But he knows the game. He's somebody that's smart. I've also seen Isaiah Thomas talk about Kobe and how he would reach out to Kobe. And another guy that looked up to Kobe in as far as his mentality, his Mamba mentality, and the way he approached the game and how smart he was about it. So interesting to hear that, and I could see Banchero if he's already got the physical tools, if he puts in the work and is inquisitive like that and reaches out to older players, to retired players, to just veterans, and gains more knowledge. If he's curious like that, I remember Kobe would talk about like curiosity and how that can be very helpful for your craft, for your career, for your industry. And if Banchero has a curiosity like that, he could take him far if he takes care of himself and takes care of his mind and body and works hard. So I thought it was a very interesting, notable thing, especially if he's going to be a future Laker. Okay, let's dive into women's basketball. So since we last talked, the Sparks have been looking pretty good, honestly. They beat the Aces the first time a week and a half ago or so since 2019, and gave them their first home loss since last season. And they've just been looking pretty good, honestly, and been getting some people healthy. I've heard about Lexi Brown has actually been sick, so prayers up for her. I hope that she recovers quickly. I saw she was on Gilbert Arenas' podcast. I didn't get to watch that yet, but she was on the other day, and I did hear a clip from the Queens of the Court podcast about her health. But yeah, so I hope she heals up and recovers quickly. It sounds like it was kind of serious because she was in and out of the hospital. So hopefully she's doing well. But as far as the Sparks go, they are now half a game up on the Chicago Sky, and they have that 8th spot. So right now, with 5 games left to go, as I'm recording here on Tuesday, as I'm recording here on Thursday, they have a playoff spot. So we'll see if they can keep that momentum. I'd love to see their season continue. It's been really a kind of up and down season for them, so it would be a great achievement if they could make the playoffs this year. And yeah, so the playoff spots right now, as of right now, the Aces locked up their playoff position, the Liberty, the Connecticut Sun, and the rest of the spots are held by Dallas Wings, Washington Mystics, Atlanta Dream, and the Minnesota Lynx, and then the Sparks right now, and hopefully, like I said, they'll hold on to that spot. Next up, there was a weird. Oh, and the Dodgers have been on a tear. Just to add that real quick, they've been on a tear, and they're up like 12 games in the division. Not even worried about that. Just need them to stay healthy, get guys back, and figure out the rotation and figure out the roster at this point. we're looking towards October, which is we love to see it as Dodger fans, and obviously now they're on a win pace for like 100 plus games, which we weren't even sure about that earlier in the season. So just kudos to them how they've handled that, how they've handled this season, and gone through all that adversity that they had. And the Angels, the guys they traded for, they dumped them now. They waived them because basically they're out of the playoffs, which is a terrible judgment on their part. And they went for it instead of trading for Ohtani, and now he's most likely going to walk away in the winter for nothing, because he's still, even though he's hurt, he's still going to command a huge salary, and I know he doesn't want to stay in Anaheim because they've missed the playoffs for the last 9 years, and 6 of those he was there with Trout. So just really, really sad handling of that situation. But that's Artie Moreno for you, and that's who he is, unfortunately, for Angels fans. But hopefully Ohtani becomes a Dodger. But a weird story with Ronald Acuna Jr. was knocked down by a fan in Denver, Colorado, after one of the fans tried to get a selfie with him, but nobody was harmed. But just inexplicable behavior by these fans. You shouldn't be running on the field, shouldn't be nowhere near. Just go to the game and watch from afar. I mean, honestly, they should get arrested for doing such a thing, and the security should have been better. It shouldn't have been allowed. But just leave the guy alone. Like, he's not an animal. Like, leave the guy alone. One of the guys like accidentally tackled him. They should be arrested and processed and banned from MLB games. Just not okay to happen. And even the Colorado coach was saying he hates to see that everywhere, especially in their stadium. So really, really weird. And fans, don't be like that. Just be respectable. And if alcohol is the issue, don't be getting so drunk at games that you can't make good decisions, or at least just leave people alone. Just have a good time and get home safe, basically. Quick update on Jonathan Taylor. So the Colts haven't been able to find a trade for him, so they're just going to keep him, I guess. It's really strange because he's not, they don't want to trade him because they can't get enough value for him, but then they don't value him enough to pay him well enough. So it's just really dumb management by, I guess, the owner, Irsay, or the GM, whatever's happening. Just, if the guy wants to go, just try to find a trade for him. It's honestly crazy how these running backs are not being valued when they're still young enough to contribute. And Taylor has been one of the best running backs for the last couple of years. So it's just not right. They should pay him earlier than waiting a few years and then, you're getting too old. Like, it's not a good system. And it's not a good system, and it's trending downward for the running back position. And then update, this is the last time I talked to y'all. Josh Jacobs did sign a 1-year deal up to $12 million with incentives with the Raiders, and he recently said that he's holding no grudges. So it's 1 year, so hopefully he can stay with the Raiders and they can eventually be a winning team again, whether it's this year or next year. And hopefully he can stay because he's one of the best running backs, if not the best, in the game right now. And I'll close this out with USC Football. They beat the San Jose State 56-28. But people have been talking a lot about the defense because we've only seen one game so far. But they let San Jose State, who's like okay, score 28 and 400 yards of offense. That's too much, but they were playing more guys than they will this upcoming game, so we'll have to see what happens. But the defensive coordinator, Alex Grinch, is getting criticism, and deservedly, because this is kind of how it's been on Lincoln Riley's teams with Oklahoma and now with USC, is that they have a phenomenal offense and a bad defense, or so, and that's how they lost those 3 games last year and missed the championship, missed going to the Final Four, was because the defense, they would lose like 52-51, and that's ridiculous. And that's ridiculous and very concerning. that's very concerning because if you look, we got Caleb Williams this last year. We have a phenomenal offense. Caleb Williams is the best quarterback in college since Andrew Luck, and he's better. He's probably the best ever. You got to get this guy to a championship game. You got to get it. This is last year as a USC fan. I got to see him win. I got to see him go to the championship again. And it's okay defense or a bad defense ain't it. It ain't going to be – it's not going to be a winning formula. So we'll see how it develops. But if the defense continues to struggle, we might have to get another defensive coordinator. I will say with the crop of new defensive athletes that we've gotten new and a better defense, I think, from what I've heard. So hopefully that bears some fruit there. And shout out to, I think his last name is Branch. He's the Raiders great Cliff Branch's grandson, and that kid is extremely athletic, like his grandpa, excuse me. And he was looking incredible for USC. So that's really amazing on the offense because he's a freshman. So we got him for like 4 more years. So that's excellent. And that's what I got for you today. Thank you so much for watching. Oh, it's time for my cats to eat. All right, so yeah, my cats are eating, so that's great. I'm sure you guys were worried. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. Tell your friends and family, and leave a comment. Hit me up if you want me to talk about something specific. Appreciate y'all. Thank you for watching. Peace, love, and God bless.